myself and half my kids were on our way to get a rental agreement signed. We found a tenant for one of the only vacant property we have. So all of our properties are now full. Thank you, Lord. It's been a while since that's happened. But I'm happy about it. So this is part of their homeschool lesson. They're going to follow me down here, and they're going to watch the process. Some of the things that we got to do. So let's just go over that anyway, y'all, if y'all don't mind. So what's some of the things we got to do again? Once we get down here, we got to do what? Well, before we go check the house. Well, once we meet the lady, we got to get her to sign the lease, right? And we got to go over the lease with her. We got to, since the house is older or was built before 1978, we got to give her a lead paint advisory or a document stating that she has been advised that the property may have lead paint. She will sign that document saying that she's been informed, right? And then we'll do a walkthrough. And why are we doing the walkthrough, Jeremiah? To document what the property looks like before they take it over. Okay? So if something's broken before they take over, then it's not their responsibility to fix it. We take pictures, we do videos, and we're going to document the way the property looks as it transitions over to them. And it should, without normal wear and tear, it should come back to us the same way that it was received. If it's not, then what happens? If there's any damage done by them, or the property is not in the same condition that it was received, then what happens? Yeah, they take responsibility. How do they take responsibility? They pay for the damages. What's one way that they pay for the damages? What's one thing that I got to take? Hello. So I got to collect rent, right? First month's rent, and what else do I have to collect? Thank you for the like. I got to collect the deposit. All right, that deposit will be returned to them once the lease agreement is up, the rental agreement. Okay? If the property is returned to us in the same condition that it was received, minus the normal wear and tear. So we'll end up collecting a deposit. If the property is not in the same condition, we'll deduct money from the deposit before we decide to give any of it back to them. Okay? Thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the like button, share. All right, guys. And one of the reasons why that I want you all to learn this is not just so you can run the business, but let's say, for instance, you don't have enough money or enough credit to buy a house, but you want to move out on your own. And guess what happens? You have to rent, right? So if you have to rent, you got to know these things as a renter. Just like the landlord has to know the laws, renters have to know the laws as well. They got to know what their rights are. So before you go into an agreement, you got to know your rights. And I would advise the lady to take her own pictures. To go when we do the walkthrough, just take her own pictures for her own reference. You know what I'm saying? So that way we can look like some type of little dog or something he's eating on. But that'd be also for her reference as well. So if I try to come up with something, she can say, no, on this date here is when we took the pictures. This is what it looked like. This is what it looked like when I left, you know? And I didn't think I would learn very much off these judge shows like Judge Mathis, Judge Joe Brown, Judge Judy, People's Court. But I did learn a lot about renting watching those shows. And one thing that judges do take into consideration is normal wear and tear. If the house has been lived in, depending on how long it was lived in, how long that person's lease was, or how long they lived in the apartment or the house, there's going to be some wear and tear because it's been lived in. Whether it be some scuff marks on the paint, it's not going to be in pristine condition once you get it back after 3 years. If that makes sense. Once again, thank you guys for joining us. Please like, subscribe, share, and I'm going to let you all see this sunny day. It's nice out here today. 62 degrees also. So that house right there, the little one, I looked at that. They were wanting, I think she was wanting like 100. Okay, here comes a truck my way. Still clear your way? Still clear? Okay. That house they were wanting, oh shoot, I can't remember what she said she wanted for that house. I think they said 170, 160, something like that. It looks like either they sold it or they're doing some remodeling or repairing to it. It was a little bit too much for my blood, and I just didn't like the flow of the house. There was going to have to be some work to be done. I wished I could have got Van in there to look at it with me. He could have told me a whole lot more about it. So when I get to the house and we go to look it over, what's some area, if you all had to do it, what's some areas that you would take pictures? Bathroom, kitchen, living room. Any garages? Yes.
Ceiling.
Yes. Ceiling.
The bedroom.
Bedrooms.
Any hallways.
Hallways. Okay. What about you, Kamora? There's one or two more things he left out.
Rooms.
Your rooms. Okay. He said that. What's in rooms?
Closet.
Closets. Yep. You want to take pictures of closets.
And attics.
Attics. Yes.
Basements.
Basements. Absolutely. What about the exterior? What about outside? You think we should take pictures of outside? Yeah. You never know, If I just put a new screen in the window and that screen is missing when I get the property back, I might not say much, or if I see that it was negligence, I might say something. Hey, what happened to that screen? What happened to the frame from the screen? What happened to the decorative shutter that I put up? Why is it gone? You know what I mean? What's up with the driveway? Why is there paint all over the driveway? Or why is the concrete cracked in certain places? What happened to my yard? Because people like to pull their cars up in the yard. I mean, your brother, you've seen what happened to our yard, right? When we started pulling cars up in the yard. So somebody pulls their car up in the yard, after a while that damages or destroys your yard. So you just want to take the pictures all around the perimeter of the house and on the inside of the house. That thing is huge up there. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe. Share the broadcast, please. Can't even talk. sorry, you guys. Not much commentary. Just concentrating on driving and the task at hand. Just trying to make sure that I got everything in play. And it is a blessing. It is a blessing to have somebody who's wanting to stay in our or at our property. It's a blessing to be able to help somebody, and it's a blessing that we've got a product that they want. Are you gonna let me in or not? We ain't got very much activity today. Should I let the live continue or should I end it? What do you think? Let it continue or end it? Is he asleep? Jeremiah, wake up. We ain't sleeping. We're going to either do homework or we're going to talk about the place. But we're not sleeping. This guy's way. He's pushing it. Sorry for the lack of commentary, you guys. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe and the like buttons. Hit the bell also, you can get notifications. Alright, so remember when I told you guys that renters need to know their laws just like a landlord does? So what are some of the things that landlords look for when they're looking for a tenant? Y'all know? Money? Okay. How do they get their money? What'd you say? I can't hear you. Oh, you don't know what landlords look for? Okay. What about you, Jeremiah? You don't know what landlords look for? Alright, so the things that landlords look for, whether you're a landlord or you're a renter, you need to know this. They're looking for somebody who has 3.5 times the income to rent ratio. All right, you got to make more. You got to make at least 3 to 3.5 times more than what the rent is. So let's say I'm just gonna throw a number out here. Let's say we're renting out a place for $500. How much do they have to come? How much money do they have to make a month for them to qualify for the $500 place? So I'm gonna give you the formula. Go ahead. I'm sorry. So it's $500. They need 3 times the money income coming in a month to qualify. So how much money do they make a month to qualify for the $500 place? 1,500. What's the formula for that, Jeremiah? 500 times. Okay, so you know, when we do, and that's crazy because when I was in school, I always had problems with word problems. I had to see the numbers. The numbers had to line up, the formula itself. But reading the problem would throw me off. Okay? So basically, it's 500 times 3. 3 represents 3 times the income a month. So let's say, for instance, you're renting out a place for $1,000. How much do they need to be making a month to qualify? Using the same formula. 1,000 times 3. So what is that? 3,000. Good job, y'all. 3,000. Now, here's another thing that people don't understand. I guess I'm talking to the rest of them right now on the live. I know a lot of people complain about rent so-called being overpriced, but a lot of people don't understand, or I ain't gonna say a lot of people don't understand. What I'm saying is, one of the things people don't see is, if I buy an apartment building and I have tenants, inherited tenants, and the previous landlord is making $1,000 per unit. All right, let's say it's 4 units. So that's $4,000 a month that he's making off of the apartment building. And he still has a mortgage, but his mortgage isn't but $2,000, right? So he's making a $2,000 profit. And I'm just throwing some numbers out there. So he's making $4,000 a month in rent. His mortgage is $2,000. He's making a $2,000 profit. But he sells it to me, and my mortgage is $4,000 a month. What do I do? Do I allow the tenants to continue to pay $1,000 a month and I don't make any money off the investment property? Or do I have to raise their rent $50 to $100 just to make a profit? What would you do? What would you do, Jeremiah? Did you hear what I said? I have an apartment building, and the previous landlord is getting $4,000 a month in rent. His mortgage is $2,000. He's making $2,000 profit. But when he sells me the building, now my mortgage is $4,000. And I have $4,000 in rent coming in. Do I just allow the tenants to continue to pay $4,000 and not make any profit whatsoever? Or do I raise their rent a little bit to get some profit? $50 to $100. What would you do? Raise their rent a little bit? What about you, Jerry? You don't know. Okay, so it's up to the landlord. As of right now, they're making my mortgage for me. I can sit back and just allow that to happen and know that I am building equity. I might not get my profit, but I'm building equity. Or I can raise their rent $50, which in turn gives me a $200 profit, which is really not that much, because the rule of thumb is at least $200 profit per door or per unit. So I would only be making $50 profit per unit, which is a $200 profit. The reason why I would raise their rent is not because of the profit, but because of the wear and tear. You got to have some extra money put back for things that might break down, right? So if I take it out of the kindness of my heart and I say, okay, well, I'm not going to raise their rent, I'm not leaving myself any wiggle room for if anything major were to happen. Now I'm going to have to come out of my personal account to fix these things. So yes, the rent would have to be raised to make sure that I have enough surplus there to fix a furnace or an air conditioning unit, or replace a stove or a refrigerator, or to repair a leaky roof. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that people don't take into account when they rent. They're just thinking that the landlord is trying to milk them dry, but the landlord's in a business. And that business, the way business operates, it has to be self-sustaining. Well, I appreciate y'all's participation. All right, you guys, we're going to get off of here now. just arrived. I'm gonna keep the ladies' confidentiality, so I'm gonna talk to you guys later on. You be good. Love you guys.